Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Adventures Travel Club television show. We are going to leave Canada and head out into the icy waters.
Yeah, where are we going, Marv?
Well, we're eventually going to wind up at Whidbey Island, but we have another stop first. And,
yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to go back and stay a little bit longer where we were.
Well, too late now, kiddo.
Too late now,
isn't
right. It? Right.
So anyway, we're getting the bus onto the ferry boat. And you see that there's some other buses that are on there, too. You know, what surprises me, and which we'll see a little bit later on, the ferry boats, once you get out there into these, out into the water, it becomes like a freeway. I mean, I didn't realize that there was so much boat traffic there.
Well, that's a way of transportation there among those islands. But you know what intrigues me a whole bunch about this ferry boat business is how they load us on the ferry.
Oh, you mean how organized it is?
Yeah.
Well, it has to be, you know, and of course that's what these people do day in and day out,
right.
I guess.
But I can remember the ferries in San Francisco. Do you remember getting on the ferry boat going over to Sausalito?
So and going, in fact, going to San Francisco sometime, the old ferry boat that they had there too. In fact, that is now in a maritime museum. That is in San Francisco, one of the old ferry boats.
Anyway, it's intriguing, and you always think, oh my gosh, supposing they put too many on one side than on the other. Oh man!
But you know that but what you're saying though is very true, and we will see here in a little bit later on in the program how they do load that up, and they make sure that they have got you've got so many cars on this side and so many on that side. Anyway, we're still loading up here, and we're going to be leaving Victoria Island here. In Canada, and we're going to go through the San Juans. And you know what? We got on so early that the duty-free was not even open yet.
How about that? And you know, all the trips we take, all the trips, wherever we go, there are shoppers.
Oh, yes, indeed. There are. I tell you, and that's kind of the fun of going somewhere. Even if you don't need the stuff, you just go buy some things,
even
right?
Even if it's a T-shirt that says Victoria or some such thing as that.
Right. And that is lots and lots of fun to do. And of course, that's what you find now. So many places too are T-shirt shops. I created a whole new business, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs. Well, you know, when you don't want to spend a bunch of bucks and you want to bring back a souvenir, and even for yourself, I buy one and then I go out jogging in it, you know, and I think, oh, that was a good trip. I'll do it again.
Then you wash it and it shrinks, and then later on you can use it for dust rags, you know. Anyway, we're just about ready to leave, and we can still see that there are a lot of those small boats. A lot of people who are out fishing, and you know, I have to say that the Northwest up there, you don't always have a lot of really sunny days, I don't believe.
I was going to say it looks I forget that it was so overcast.
Yeah, well, and that's how a lot of that is. That's probably why it's so beautiful and green there all of the time. But, you know, you get used to it, I guess, if you live there. And so anyway, we're just about ready to shove out there. And we will see there's a lot of water traffic out there that day. And I just think for the time of year that we were there, it probably was a pretty good day.
A good day. I'm really laughing, Marv, at the pictures of the boats that we have up there, because I know if there had been any birds, it would have been birds,
just wait,
not boats.
Just wait.
All right, all right.
Just wait. You'll get both on this trip, birds and boats. We're going to the B&B.
The B&Bs,
right?
huh? Bed and breakfast, birds and boats.
Birds and boats. Yeah. So anyway, the ferry boat is now chugging on out, and we're going to head over to one of the other islands. If a person were to take a look at a map of the San Juan Islands, you would notice that that there are many islands there, and of course the only way that, as Betty stated, that you can get to island is either by boat, or there are seaplanes also that go to. And what surprised me too is, you know, how many of these islands have a lot of people living there.
Oh, sure. Hey, Marv, that's what you want right up there, isn't that what
you're
you're hoping for one of these days?
Maybe in retirement I'll be able to.
And you will sail where? Where would you sail?
Anywhere. It doesn't matter. Probably warmer climates than that.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. I think that, you know.
I think probably starting off to Catalina.
You know what? I've done that before.
Have you?
And it gets foggy. Going over to Catalina sometimes in the summertime, and also those waters can get kind of rough.
Yeah,
that's only about 20 some odd miles.
You better learn a little bit more than you know right now before
I'll tell you
go
what,
off.
Going on a cruise is probably going to be my speed.
No. Well, you know what you can do? You can charter one and with a captain on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it can be your own little, and then you can help him.
However, it would still be.
There they are.
There are your birds.
Okay.
It would still be less expensive, I think, to go on a cruise.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And you don't have to work.
We're going to do that, too, next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have several lined up
Several
for next
cruises?
year.
Oh,
Yep.
that sounds good.
Yeah, I like that, too, because when I go on the long ones, I have lots of... lots of waits in airports and stuff. So cruises are easier for me with a group of people.
And cruising's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
I tell you, anytime you get out on the water like this, so relaxing and so nice. Even, when you take a little 3 or 4 hour ride on these ferry boats, it's relaxing and nice. And
I like them, too. I laugh because Jim Kasserich and Nancy, but Jim particularly, he hits the restaurant every time we get on one. And he's so generous. He wants to buy for everybody
he
does,
certainly did on this trip. He was very, very generous
yeah.
to all of us. It was great. It was wonderful. Now we came by a little island here, and we were fairly close. And people said those are goats, and then somebody said those are deer.
Deer.
Those are like miniature.
They're deer goats.
They're deer. Well, I was shooting this with as you can see, because we have a lot of bounce here because there's a lot of vibration on the boat, and when you're trying to do that with a telescopic lens. It bounces around a little bit, but if they were goats, they were kind of funny because they had antlers.
Yeah, well,
so they were little. They were small
can't
deer.
Goats have little horns, don't some?
Yeah, but
goats?
not like these guys had.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. But we couldn't see them that clear from the boat.
And the thing is, but a few people did have binoculars who could see them even better than the pictures that I was getting here, and they were saying the same thing too, that they were sort of like a miniature deer. But the odd thing was, some of them were white.
Yeah.
I mean, they were white. Now, hopefully, I think I've got another shot here in a bit, and you can see a deer-colored deer, as it were. At least that's what it.
A deer-colored deer.
Yeah.
Would you explain, please? What is a deer-colored deer?
Well, not what you would expect. I mean, white like this. What we're saying here.
You mean like that tannish? Sort of
and then
brownish?
that looked like, I think there was a fawn there too, with the little spots on it, too. So I don't know. Look closely, see, Betty, if you can see. But see now, that one up in
the one way up on the right-hand side
see,
might possibly be, huh?
And somebody said, no, I think they're cows. And no, I don't think so.
Well, that's what makes it all so interesting, all this supposition.
Yeah.
And Marv, nobody lives on that island. Or was
there
one house
no,
on
there was a house. Yeah,
okay.
There's a ranch on that particular island. And as we say, we passed many of these little islands, and so some of them had had homes and had roads, and they had their cars and stuff out there too.
Wait a minute. They had roads in their cars. Then they had to have their own type boat that would get them onto.
No, they probably. I don't think so. I think probably how they got everything over there was by the ferry boats, and then a lot of them have little boats tied up there too.
Oh, so shopping and stuff, huh? Too.
Yeah. Because some of those islands were,
were
fairly
like
large
that.
actually.
Maybe.
I don't know. That looks like somebody's out there fishing. It looks like it, but who knows? It looks like they're freezing in the back of that boat. Is like what's happening. But
as I recall, Marv, it wasn't that cold.
No,
it was
really
windy.
wasn't. It was windy,
and we bundled up because of the wind, and your hair went all over the place.
No, it was pleasant. It was very pleasant, and we keep going through these little channels here, and you do get fairly close to some of these islands. But
it's easy to see why people. Excuse me for interrupting you, but it's easy to see why people want to move to Seattle. Why it is such a popular, or any northern area up there.
It is. Well, you have so much natural beauty up there. Now again, here's one of the islands, and of course you can see
they have their own dock.
Sure, yeah, and there are a lot
then
of
they don't
homes
have to ever worry about getting sick because they have their own dock. That right?
You said it.
All right.
You said it. Okay. You have to own up to it. Anyway, we're getting close now. See, there's some homes.
Sure.
Yeah. And you can see, and of course, from the water side, we can't really see the roads.
Yeah, but
that
Marv,
type of thing
is this the same island that we were looking at when we saw the deer?
No.
So that's
this is
why,
another one.
Yeah,
Look, because look here now. There's $1 million yacht on your right hand side. Here's a seaplane here, that you see right in the middle, and look at, and you've got several hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of boats in that particular marina. And this is another island there. And you know, a lot of people will jump on these ferry boats and go to an island, you know, be what they call day trippers and go for a day. And then others will go and you can stay, because there are accommodations on some of the larger ones, of course, too. And I just wanted to get sort of a 360-degree shot here of as we're standing on top of the ferry boat here, because we're just getting ready to dock, and we're going to get ready to unload. Several of the cars were going to come off, and a lot of the pedestrians were, and then of course they, you know, let more pedestrians on, and then eventually the cars on too. And so we were here for just a short amount of time, not long enough for us to get off of the ferry boat at all. I mean, we stayed on the boat.
But you've given a good shot. It gives the viewers an idea of the beauty of all of the facilities that are available on an island.
You know, there's so much there really is a tremendous amount of things that are here.
Let's go back.
I'd like to. I have been through this area before. We went on this particular trip, Betty, and we were on a Washington State ferry on this one, and I had been on one on a Canadian ferry, and I understand too, just about the time that we did this trip, that the United States was putting on some newer ferry boats that were, well, let's say a little more upscale than the one that we were on. Although the one that we were on, there was nothing wrong with that at all. I thought it was beautiful.
No, I thought so too.
But I had been on some of the Canadian ferries before, and they were pretty much first class. I mean, they were very, very nice. But anyway, the accommodations there are very nice, and of course we weren't staying but just a few hours on it. This was Friday Harbor on San Juan Island, and
Friday Harbor went on Saturday morning.
On Saturday,
Not
you know, I think it
Was
was.
it?
Yeah, I think it was. I actually.
You're better at that than I am.
Well, here are some of our cars getting off.
Our cars.
Well, on our ferry boat, yes.
Okay. Oh, aren't we something?
Or the cars that were on the ferry boat on which we were also traveling. How's that?
That sounds
better?
much better.
Okay. And so they're getting ready to go off. And this is nice because it gives us a good viewpoint from there. Now, here are some people that are waiting to get onto the ferry boat. And it's interesting, Betty, because you'll notice you'll be able to see probably some of the locals will be carrying various parcels with them, and then you can see the tourists with all the cameras, of course, strung across.
Marv, don't you suppose that that's quite an expensive way to live, though, to have to commute by ferry to go to work or to do whatever it is you're going to do?
I guess you get used to it, you know.
Maybe they have like tickets, like if you were taking a bus or if you were a streetcar or whatever.
Probably so, yeah. If you're a daily commuter, I would suspect that would happen, yeah. Now there we can see there's a few people with cameras and some with briefcases and other things there. So you've got and backpackers, as we see right there too.
I wouldn't like to live on an island. I don't like to be isolated like that. What if you run out of something? What do?
You go to your neighbors.
I guess.
You go to your neighbors, sure. Yeah. And I'm sure now this island looked like it was very large, and the little harbor right here was there was a lot of shopping that was there, and that well, I don't know if I got a picture of it or not, but
you've been very generous with your camera space just watching these people go off. Couldn't you find anything better to look at?
No, well, I like to look at people.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah, I'm a people watcher.
Well,
sure.
That's enough people. Come on,
so we got the people.
Move that camera.
Well, now they're going to bring the cars on.
Now that's what I think. The cars are actually more interesting in how they divide which one goes in the next one. And there's no beeping of horns or anything on that.
No,
I mean, they're all patient, knowing that they have to do it right.
Well, you have to follow the people there that are going to direct you, because they do. As you can see now, some are going in the center, some are going on one side, and then some on the other. So they have it balanced out pretty well.
And then you think of our buses.
Yeah.
You know, with the weight of the bus compared to cars, they have to figure that into the movement.
So it's pretty well done. I mean, I should say it's done very well, and it's done very fast. They get these things in, and they're off and gone.
Good.
Because they've got to meet a time schedule too, you
Yeah,
know.
they turn right around. Well, they don't turn around. I mean, they just reverse and go. Not reverse. What is it they do? They load from both ends. I mean.
No, you couldn't on this. You could, because you'd be putting the
when
cars
you
right back
yeah,
in the
but
water.
when you take them off, no. When you take them off, when you unload them, then don't they
the ferry
reload
boats-
right again on the same end?
Yeah, that's what they did here.
Yeah.
Now
but-
those cars were going. Okay, those cars were going off.
Yeah.
And then they loaded the new ones
come
coming
right
on.
back
Okay,
forward.
they would just be facing the other direction.
Yes.
So when the ferry boat unloads, I don't know. Why do you ask questions like that?
Because
I didn't pay that much attention.
I think you're smart sometimes, and then I change my mind.
Well, yeah. Well, now wait a minute. It depends too that if they've got two decks, you know.
Okay.
If they've got
And
two
the
decks for
decks are
cars,
loaded?
the decks are loaded by the time they get going, like we're
Okay.
going right now.
All right, that's
Yeah.
enough of that
I
nonsense.
I don't
Yeah, now
know.
let's
I
talk
don't know.
about
Now
what-
you can see part of the town there in the background. Okay.
Ah.
All right. Now there's restaurant C right there on the pier, and there were, I'm sure, T-shirt
Now, where
shops.
is that?
That's that Friday Island.
That's Friday
Yeah,
Island.
that's or
Okay.
Friday Harbor, is it? San Juan Island, Friday Harbor.
My
I
bad.
don't know where we are. I know we're in the San Juan Islands up
our
there
poor
somewhere.
viewers, they're going to think they're never going to travel with us because they think we get too confused. But this is after the fact, so it's
Way after
okay, and
the
we
fact.
got home safely.
Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't have these photographs to show.
Yeah. Now that's where we spend a lot of time standing over the rail
Oh,
because there was so much to see.
There was.
And the sun was shining, and in this instance right here, it was I thought a beautiful day, and I love the water anyway. So
Yeah.
anytime I can be near water, I'm happy.
And to see that they have, you've got radar on there too. And I would imagine when it gets foggy that they probably use that, you know.
Well,
I
I would hope so.
I would think so too. Now look, it's just, as I say, like a freeway. There's, in the background, there's one ferry boat going one direction, and here's a larger one going another direction. And you have to remember, we're on one also.
Taking
So
the
there's
picture.
three of them, you know, right there. Bingo, bingo, bingo.
There's hardly any movement of the water. There's no little
No, just the
waves,
vibration,
just
as
the
you can see, of the
but-
boat, which we
But
have right
nothing,
here.
nothing to
No,
jar
very
the boat.
smooth.
Very,
No,
very
it's very
smooth,
nice, yeah.
glassy surface.
Uh-huh.
And then all the trees over there.
Isn't it beautiful?
Right
Just
down
beautiful.
to the edge of the water.
Yeah, yeah. And you can see too the little sailboats off in the background, and a lot of people using the water. Of course, as I say, it's just like a freeway or a highway, you know.
Well, I don't think they have much choice. So
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think I have a choice.
Okay, so now we have landed.
Are we going to move?
We're going to move.
Oh,
We are now
thank
at
goodness.
Whidbey Island. Whidbey.
Whid.
I always thought there was a T in there, but it's not. It's Whidbey. Whidbey Island. And there are some rather, well, I guess you would say large towns there. There's about three of four of them. There's Oak Harbor, which is the largest, and there's Coopville, where we actually went to church on Sunday. And there's Green Bank, which is another one, and there's some little smaller places, I guess, in between.
There was an army base on Whidbey. Dale told me that I think that was Dale that told me he was stationed there for a while, and he thought it was a great place.
Oh, is that right?
Uh-huh,
On Whidbey Island?
On
Ah.
Whidbey Island.
Well, I have some friends that live there too, and they.
Oh, you have some friends?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I'm
a few.
glad to hear that. That's nice
And they
to
like
know.
it very, very much. You know, it's great. Anyway, that isn't very far. If we were to go, which we will later on, to the southeast end of the island, which is just a stone's throw actually from the mainland there in Washington. But as we say, these ferry boats just go all over the place. And
Yeah.
now, as we're going toward Oak Harbor. And again, there's on this island, there are other little islands, as
I
we
was
can
not
see.
very impressed with Whidbey Island, I must admit.
Oh, I thought it was interesting.
When we do it again, I will try to have a little bit different itinerary. You liked it, but then
Yeah.
then
I
you
liked it
don't
'cause I
have
thought
you don't
there's-
have very good taste.
Oh, I don't
I
know
don't
about
know
that.
No, everybody liked it, and we did see some nice places, and we certainly stayed in a nice place.
Oh,
and they
yeah,
were
very
most
nice.
hospitable to us.
Indeed, I'll tell you, they
Noticed
really
as
were.
we came
No, the
in.
people were very nice, and I think we were just either at the end or the at the end of the tourist season, weren't we? When we went
When
there?
I say I didn't like Whidbey Island, you know, that's such a negative statement. I do like every place we go. Some places you like just a little bit more than others, and I think in my heart I hated to leave Victoria, and I would,
Well,
if I
that's
could have
right.
skipped Whidbey
Yeah.
and stayed to another 2 days in Victoria, I would have been very happy.
Yeah. Well, see, you're a city
City
person.
girl.
Yeah,
I'm a
you're a
city
city
girl.
person. That's right.
But I like scenery. Of course, you can have scenery in the city too.
Well,
you
that's
know.
true too.
Buses and cars and skyscrapers and
Smog.
Smog, yeah.
The bridge that we saw a little bit ago, that was
Oh.
Canoe Pass Arch.
Here's our hotel. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You were looking down and I'm looking
Oh.
up. And this is what they did for us when we drove in.
Oh, yeah.
They met us with a very lovely reception. There was chilled wines and cheeses and other kinds of hors d'oeuvres. That was before we came out and had dinner there.
Mhm.
So they just treated us very, very nicely. The rooms were nice.
And they had some local wines. You know, they do grow grapes on that island. Now, I'm sorry that this is so jerky, but the bus was turning around. I was trying to get. This was Sunday morning, and I was trying to get a shot there of the riders there on the horse.
What were they doing? Was that
Well, it's I think that
training place?
Yeah, and they're going to use. You can see that there's some jumps there too that
Yeah.
that the rider will do. And so we then went from there right on to Coupeville, and
we went there to recoup, huh?
to recoup. Yeah, we were just there Sunday morning. There's some water area there, and also kind of in the country. This is one of the largest barns that I'd ever seen, one of the longest barns that I'd ever seen, and I wanted to get a shot of that. Look at that, Betty. That just goes
What's
on
in the
and
barn?
on and on.
What's in the barn?
I didn't get that close to find out.
Okay, look at that house. Isn't that great?
That's a B&B. That's a
Yeah.
nice Victorian. That's there in Coupeville.
I love those Victorian houses.
Just beautiful. And this is a little church where a lot of us went to Mass at Sunday, and a lot of the others went down to the water side and got a chance to see Coupeville up close. But this was nice. This church was converted St. Mary's Church, and it was jam packed when we went inside. It was very, very nice. Anyway, we made our way on then to Fort Casey, which is a state park, and I thought this was really interesting. The little lighthouse that was here. There really was a fort that was there too, and some of the gun, or I guess you call them guns, they're cannons, really.
Cannons.
Were still in place there.
Is that the one we got up on the cliff-like of the the wall? No, that's not it. That's another place.
No, this was the lighthouse that was there, and
Fort Casey.
this was built many, many years ago. In fact, the land was purchased. The United States government purchased 10 acres. It was in 1858 to build the little lighthouse.
Who purchased it?
The United States did.
Oh.
Well, the government did. I guess it was private land, before.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, in the early 1890s, a fort with a gun battery was built to protect the waters of northern Puget Sound.
Who are we protecting from?
Well, it said there on the thing, they were afraid. They were afraid of the Spanish. They were afraid of the Europeans. I don't know. They were just afraid of everybody. I guess I don't know. That's what it said inside there. But anyway, this was called the Admiralty Lighthouse, and one of them went down, and then they built a second one, and by the 1920s, it was declared obsolete.
Hey, look at these pictures that you took, Marv. My goodness, we're just seeing walls. What happened?
I'm trying to climb up to
Is
get
that
into
what you're doing with
yeah.
the camera on your
Yeah.
back?
Well,
and,
you go round and round
there
and
goes
round.
Mary. Hi, Mary. But it looked like that's exactly what was happening, because we were
That's
going
what was happening.
and seeing black spots and a white wall, and that's not what you usually show.
Well, that's because I was trying to
Get
show
up
what
to
it
the-
looks like when you climb up
Oh,
inside of a lighthouse.
okay.
Now, we're inside there, and so you can see the view from there. And it overlooks the Strait of
yeah.
San Juan de Fuca, and the far-reaching Puget Sound views and crimson sunsets are just some of the charms of the Admiralty Lighthouse.
Oh, how romantic.
Isn't that nice?
How romantic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's obsolete as far as the lighthouse is
Yeah.
concerned anymore, because now you have those
But,
that are
that's
all
the
automatic.
place I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
where the
went
gun
up and
emplacements
yeah,
are.
and we went up on the top and we walked all the way around, and then you can go inside certain areas of it too. Some of our people took pictures from the ground up, for themselves.
See, I didn't get down there because I spent my time up here at the lighthouse, so I didn't get a
Yeah.
chance to see that, unfortunately. Well, this is also a state park too, and there's areas for camping, and and then from there, then we went on to this other place, and this is the berry farm, Betty. This is
Yeah, it was very nice.
it was very, very nice. A Green Bank Berry Farm. I always wanted to see how they grew Logan berries and the other berries, and out around this area here. This is also a winery, and they made loganberry wine.
Yeah, we had a little sip of it. We had a few little sips of the wine.
You just had a few?
Yeah, that's all they'd give us.
You did? Well, you could buy some if you wanted
No,
to.
well, we didn't really spend a lot of time there. We sort of dropped in on them unexpectedly, although
they set
it
up a little
had
thing
been
for us,
planned
yeah.
for us. And then many people bought little jars of jelly, and I don't.
They had a lot of little things there for
Yeah.
sale. This is Washington State's only liqueur, it said,
Okay.
that they make locally.
Look,
So.
see the size of the. Well, we've been through many wineries
Mm-hmm.
at Napa and other places, and you see one. Actually, you see them all, but it's interesting to know what kind of grapes they use and
Or berries.
berries. That's right. This
Yeah.
was all berries,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And it looks like still that they put those up in oak barrels. I was reading the other day that this is in some areas where they haven't been using oak barrels, they're going back to it now because regular wineries, because of the taste that the oak
It
gives
has.
in the aging
It-
process. Yeah.
And they keep them in the oak a long time. The good wines they do, but
They age well that way. Here's a little map that you can see of Washington and Oregon, and the berry growing regions there are all in red, and also part of British Columbia too. The loganberry, see, and you spend a little time there, you get a little history on the loganberries. Have you ever had loganberry jam?
I don't think so.
It's good.
Is it?
Oh yeah. it's great.
What's a loganberry taste like? What's a Logan?
Uh,
Is that
well,
the man's name, maybe, that perfected
that
the berry?
founded a berry? I don't know.
You don't found a berry.
No, well,
You
who discovered
perfect
it?
You
How do you-
don't discover it.
You don't
What
discover
you
it?
have to do, you blend or you breed. It's not breeding either, but you take different kinds of stock and put them together with other stock, and
And that's how you do it, huh?
I
Okay, well, that's so much for berries.
okay.
Anyway, here's a collection of corkscrews here, and there's a few different types that you can see right here. So they had a nice little display right
Yeah.
here, Plus, as you say, they had a few things for sale as well. So it was kind of nice. It was a nice visit.
Any time that you stop off when you do a bus trip, you get a chance to stretch your legs, you get a chance to do something different, you get a chance to buy some souvenirs, and this is what makes a bus trip so interesting.
Oh,
You're
sure,
not
it
sitting
does.
on a plane. You get off and you look at things, you pick things up, then you get back on the bus and you go again.
Speaking of that, you have a bus trip coming up pretty
Yes,
soon.
I
Want to
do.
tell us about that?
Yeah, we're going to go to Old Faithful, and I've never seen it, so I'm kind of excited about it. And then we'll see Mount Rushmore,
Mhm.
and we will go to the two parks, Zion National Park, and I don't know what's the name of the other one. I forget.
You forget?
But anyway, that's.
I've never heard of that one before.
that's
You
go-
forget
I forget
National Park.
Yeah, we just discovered that one. But it will be a very interesting trip. I've just about got it filled.
Really?
but
So,
yeah.
do you have any more?
Oh, I have room. Yeah, but it's doing very well. We leave August the 18th,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be 11 days.
Oh, that sounds
And
great.
a lot of my people that were on the other trip are coming along on this one.
Oh, that's
There,
wonderful.
there are a lot of people, Marv, that don't like. Oh
to
my
fly.
goodness!
Hey, our time's just about gone.
I
So,
know.
listen, if you are interested in that trip or any others that we have, give Betty a call at 488-7443. Time to say goodbye.
Bye bye.